Live. I think this is Facebook. And I'm here in Carlsbad, California. It's 12:30. It's Thursday. Beautiful, beautiful day out. Just got back from Austin, Texas, where a great friend and a student of my work, Ken Goodrich, flew me in his private plane to meet with this amazing, amazing man, Roy Williams, the Wizard of Ads. And we spent this spectacular time together talking about business, talking about marketing, talking about new co as compared to old co, talking about the wizardry of creating a company that is a great growing company and how everybody I'm saying can do it. Now hear me, everybody I say that to reminds me of what is called the 80-20 rule. In short, 80% of the results are always produced by 20% of the people. And hear me, while that rule is a rule among ordinary people, I'm suggesting it's exactly the opposite of the rule among the U.S. Navy SEALs. Now understand, I don't mean that all the guys who go there to become U.S. Navy SEALs make it. No, only 20% of them do, which obviously speaks to the 80-20 rule. The question is, what about the ones who are left? What about the ones who actually are U.S. Navy SEALs? Now, that's what I want you to think about. What I want you to think about are the ones who are left. The ones who actually went through that entire grueling, painstaking, beyond belief exercise. But the only thing that in fact enabled them to sustain themselves through the pain and the trauma of it all was the determination to see it through every moment, every moment, every moment. In short, they stopped thinking about tomorrow and they just lived in today. So I'm not a proponent of the 80-20 rule. I'm suggesting that any industry that's built upon the 80-20 rule is going to discover, in fact, that what does happen in that industry is, while consistent with the status quo, is in fact a trauma waiting to be cured. And if it's a trauma waiting to be cured, note the real estate industry, note multi-level marketing, note just about everything you can think of, if in fact it's a trauma waiting to be cured, there is the disruptive opportunity. Hear that? The disruptive opportunity that, in fact, entrepreneurship was born to cure. That's the work I've been doing for 40 years. All built upon a premise I called our dream. That dream that we explicated way back then in 1977. When we indeed created what is called the business coaching industry. And it's called the business coaching industry simply because it was the name we came to when we decided to become the McDonald's of small business consulting. The McDonald's of small business consulting essentially said it's possible to do with consulting exactly what Ray Kroc did with his hamburger stand. Everybody said you can't do that. Everybody said that's impossible. Everybody said even if you could do that, we wouldn't want to do that. Everybody said yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And in fact, every place I went and I explicated our dream, everybody said, yeah, it's fanciful and it's cute, but you'll never be able to do it. And we did it. And we did it, and we did it, and we did it. To the degree that, in fact, I could very easily say we have transformed the state of small business worldwide, with millions of readers of our books, with hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people applying this paradigm, not as much a philosophy as you might say a technology, a system, a method, a process, which is nothing other than a system over time. What we have learned how to do is to apply the rigor of that thinking to industries, to businesses, to companies, to social networks, to professions, in a way that everybody said was inexplicable, impossible. You can't do that, Gerber, and yet we did. And so I want to answer questions that you might have so as to break through the bubble that everybody obviously needs to break through in order to see the clear path ahead. You're working far too hard. You're working far too hard and far too wrong. Not because you're wrong, you understand? Don't take any of this personally. Just understand that you're being constantly lied to. And please don't take them wrong either. Because even though you're constantly being lied to, nobody set out to lie to you. They just simply set out to position themselves as the solution to your personal problem. And the problem is, most of them aren't. On the other hand, I'm not the solution to your personal problem either. You are. And that's the good news to the message I bring to you and will continue to bring to you over and over and over again until the wise among you accept the reality that there's only one solution to the problem of your life, and that solution to the problem of your life is nothing to do with personal growth. It has nothing to do with enhancing your self-esteem. It has nothing to do with any of the machinations that have been created over time. It has nothing to do with psychology. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It has to do with the mechanics of your mind. I want you to understand that the mechanics of your mind are controllable. The mechanics of your mind are controllable, provided we start with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. Because we're not here, not I, not you, not anyone here to fix your broken business or your broken life. Now understand what I mean by that. When I say it's broken, I simply mean it wasn't built right. Hear me? Don't take this personally, because then you'll get into all sorts of subjective reactivity. Your life and your business weren't built right. They weren't built right from the very start. And so when you try to fix a broken life and a broken business, meaning a life that isn't producing optimal results, meaning a business that isn't producing optimal results, when you try to fix a broken business or a broken life, you're actually working against the tide. You can't do that. There's just too much racket there, too much noise there, too much resistance there. It's all that old stuff. So what we're here to do is to invent new Old on the left, new on the right. Old is capital O-L-D-C-O. New capital N-E-W-C-O. I call that, please write this down, my two-co strategy. Capital T-W-O. Capital C-O, my two-co strategy. You're not going to hear this anywhere else on the planet. The job is very, very simple. to go to work on Old Co without any energy whatsoever, to organize it in such a way that it's sustainable. That's all you need to do. Because Old Co is not the future. Old Co, the company you've got, the life you've got, the job you've got, whatever it might be, provided it's at least making a passable living. If it's not making a passable living, we can just discard it and start with New Co with all of our attention. But of course, we need some sustainability. You need to create some income simply to get by. That's all we're talking about. Some income just to get by. Ask yourself the question, am I creating some income just to get by? That's Old Co. Get it right. I'll tell you exactly how to do that in another time. But hear me, just get Old Co right. Go to work on Old Co, not in Old Co. Expend very little energy in this process. Organize Old Co to work so that it's sustainable. Old Co is about sustainability. New Co starts today, and New Co is about growth. And you start New Co with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. Now I'm going to share some questions that people have asked me, and then I'm going to respond to them in the context of what I just said to you. Bobby Ray in Windsor, California. Hey, Bobby Ray, that's a great name. Really, must be a song about Bobby Ray in Windsor, California. It says, what are some ways a business owner can instill his or her vision into employees to a degree where it makes a real difference in their view of the business and their own roles in it? Now, Bobby Ray, I got to tell you this. If you've read my book, The E-Myth Revisited, if you've read my book, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, How Ordinary People Can Create Extraordinary Companies Without Any Experience to Guide Them, and if you've read my book, Beyond the E-Myth, The Evolution of an Enterprise from a Company of One to a Company of 1,000, I'm saying this to everybody here, not just Bobby Ray. If you read those 3 books, that's the E-Myth trilogy. Now, I'm daring to say this. If you've read those books, you never have to read another business book again. Hear me? You never have to read another business book again. Because the answer to your question is already there, Bobby. The answer to every single question any one of you could ever ask about business, about the art of business, about the science of business, about the work of business, about the people in the business, about the marketing of the business, about the operation of the business, about the management of the business, about all the questions that every single one of you have to ask. I'm going to say to you, it's all there. You don't have to go anyplace else. Because I can point to folks who've simply read my books and have applied them rigorously, just as I've said in my books, and have created multi-million-dollar companies. Keep it simple, stupid, Bobby Ray. Keep it simple. Please hear me. We're in school here. I call this, everybody, action school. Everything you need to do what I've said, to build a company of 1 to a company of 1,000, what I call a great growing company, is already available to every single one of you. Every single one of you. Then why are we still getting questions and questions and questions and questions? It's because you're not doing it. So hear me, in action school, that's what we're talking about this. We're here to do it. Not just to talk about it, not just to wander about it and wonder about it. We're here to freaking do it. And what I'm saying is when you do it, when you activate the method that I'm prescribing for you, which is a universal method, universally applicable to every single kind of company, every single product and service on the face of the world, to every single kind of consumer on the planet. When I say that to you, understand that is backed up by 40 years of proof. The most successful emerging small companies have become the most successful small emerging companies because they've applied what I've taught them in action school. Now, I'm going to be 81 in June. That's coming up right now. 80 freaking 1 in June. And I'm on a mission. Now, I said earlier, Bobby Ray, that I've transformed the state of small business worldwide. You understand? I haven't. What I'm saying is Ray Kroc has it, McDonald's. But I'm saying to every single one of you, if you're listening to me, if you're really internalizing what I'm saying to you, is that this is something to do. It's not something to wonder about. This is something to do. It's like shooting a basket, shooting a basket, shooting a basket. You don't shoot a basket by thinking about shooting a basket. You shoot a basket by shooting a frickin' basket again and again and again and again. Well, I'm going to lower the hoop for you so you can actually make a basket. Your job is to have the will to do what I'm going to teach you to do. Without the will to do what I'm going to teach you to do, it's a waste of our time. My saxophone teacher told me when I was 11 years old, I only teach kids who want to become the best saxophone players in the world. In order to do that, you got to practice. You got to practice what I tell you to practice, how I tell you to practice, how long I tell you to practice, and you got to do that every day in exactly the way I'm telling you. And I'm saying that to you. If you've got the will, I've got the way. I do have the way. I've proven it. My saxophone teacher proved it. All you got to do is do it. You got it? So, Bobby Ray, the answer to your question is very, very simple. You got to have a dream, you got to have a vision, you got to have a purpose, and you got to have a mission. The dream is the great result you intend to produce with your company. The vision is the form your company is going to take. The purpose is the outcome your vision is going to have on your most important customer. And your mission is to develop the system that in effect will enable your dream, your vision, and your purpose to happen. To the degree you've done your homework, that means to the degree you have established what your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission are. To the degree you've risen to awaken the new entrepreneur within, Bobby Ray. All of the answers to your questions are just waiting right at the end of that. Holy moly, Gerber was right. That's what they always say. Gerber was right. My wife keeps on saying, there you go again. There you go again. Right again. That's because I don't engage in all this subjective lollyland, stupid stuff that everybody talks about and everybody makes up to justify what they're selling. I don't have to justify what I'm selling because I'm not selling it, I'm telling it. And you get to do it simply because you wish to become a student of it. And you wish to become a student of it because you wish to intend to take your company of one and grow a company of 1,000. And you might say, Michael, I don't want to have 1,000. All I want to do is get by and make a living. Well, please then don't join me. I'm not interested in anybody who's limited to making a living. Life isn't about making a living. Life is about creating. My intent is to awaken, inspire the creator within every single one of you. And in order to do that, I've got to begin it with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind so I can infuse you with the magic that comes from this kind of activity in what I call Action School. Welcome to Gerber's Action School. It's the only place to be. If you intend to grow, that is. And if you don't intend to grow, why are you here? Just to make a living? Any dummy can make a living. Maybe not a good one. And please, please don't bring stuff here called like passive income or the millionaire next door or all the pandering stuff. We don't need to hear it. We just don't need to hear it. We're here to disrupt the universe. We're here to disrupt the universe. We're here, and I'll say it one last time, to disrupt the universe by applying universal rules to growth. And I'm going to take you step by step through that process. Then I'm going to give you an opportunity to actually come work with me. And the good news is you come to work with me online. I'm going to do something, we'll announce when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do something very, very soon. I'm going to conduct and lead a dreaming room online. And the purpose of the dreaming room is to awaken the true entrepreneur within you. And that is to take you through the process of a dream, a vision, a purpose, and a mission. I want every single one of you who are interested or even excited about actually working directly with me over 7 meetings, 90 minutes a meeting, in a dreaming room online, ready to do the work, to discover the dream, the vision, the purpose, and the mission, which is going to become the force field for NewCo, for the company you're about to create to grow. And when we do that, I'm also going to provide you with access to the means to turnkey OldCo, so it's sustainable. On the left is OldCo, on the right is NewCo, in the center is TwoCo, and your ever-loving creative mind. Bobby Ray, thanks for your question. We got Frank from Phoenix, Arizona. Frank says, what's the best way to systematize yourself out of the day-to-day business so you can focus on running your business, not being your business? Furthermore, how do you successfully implement said systems without them becoming a distraction rather than a solution? Frank, I got to tell the same thing I just told Bobby Ray. I'm telling all of you this. If you've read The E-Myth Revisited, if you've read Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, if you've read Beyond the E-Myth, then you absolutely have the pathway to achieving exactly what I'm talking about. And then you join me in the Dreaming Room live online, and I'll take you through the literal process to create the platform so that, in fact, you have the fundamentals in place that will enable you to not just answer your questions, but become, Frank, the answer to your questions. You understand your job is to become the answer to your questions, so that when other people ask those questions, I can say, ask Frank, ask Bobby Ray, ask Susie from Denver, Colorado. Everybody who's participated with me in Action School knows that this isn't something just to think about and read all about. It's something to actually put into action. Great ideas turned into action. You got it? So here's the answer to both your questions, Bobby Ray and Frank. If you haven't read The E-Myth Revisited, if you haven't read Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, and if you haven't read Beyond the E-Myth, what I'm calling the E-Myth Trilogy, go get them immediately. immediately and sit down and read them immediately, because within those books is in fact the non-secret to taking action in a way that doesn't require all this convoluted conversations. All these convoluted conversations, all of this works. It's all been done. It's all out there, alive and well in great growing companies. Now all you've got to do is to begin it with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. Susie, you have small businesses like Zappos that started with the intent to be family-oriented. They grew to be over $1 billion and have stayed true to families first. How can we take existing companies that are not family-oriented and help them become more like Zappos? Well, first of all, I would ask you to break the assumption that that's actually what happened at Zappos. Now hear me, Zappos might say it, people at Zappos might say it, the training you go to at Zappos might tell it, but I'm going to suggest that it's not what happened at Zappos. I'm going to suggest that something quite different than that happened at Zappos. In quotes, it's beyond family-oriented. Now, if you start out and you're saying, I want to be family-oriented, I'm suggesting that, in fact, you're trying to do something which is not going to enable you to achieve the result you wish to achieve. I'm going to give you the process to achieve the result you wish to achieve, Susie. Just as I've said with Frank, just as I've said with Bobby Ray. We don't want this to become a theoretical exercise. We don't want to pretend to do what Zappos did. We want to actually do what needs to be done in order for Susie to actually take a company of one and grow a company of 1,000. I've done that. I've done that again and again and again and again and again and again. I've done that thousands of times. And Susie, I'm going to do it with you. And the beauty of this is you don't have to invest a lot of money to do it. If you've got the will, Susie, I've got the way. Now, I'm saying I've got the way, but I can turn you over to countless extraordinarily successful entrepreneurs, extreme entrepreneurs, I call them, who will tell you, listen to the man, but don't just listen to the man, do what he says. So Susie, the E-Myth Revisited, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, Beyond the E-Myth, the turnkey system for doing exactly what you say you wish to do. But I'm going to ask that you begin with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. Not with Zappos in mind, not with family businesses in mind, not with some theoretical concept in mind. I want you to begin in Susie. I want to discover the extreme entrepreneur within Susie. And as we begin to discover the extreme entrepreneur within Susie, we're going to help discover your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission, which will become the platform for growing a great growing company, which is exactly like Lego blocks. Nobody's ever told you that before. You're working too hard. You're thinking too much. You're too impressionable. This is simple. You've heard the expression, Susie and Frank and Bobby Ray, keep it simple, stupid. I'm keeping it simple, stupid. 8 simple steps. The dream, the vision, the purpose, the mission, the job, the practice, the business, the enterprise. It's a process. I'm going to take you through the process here in Michael E. Gerber's Action School. In other words, we're going to turn great ideas into action. You're going to actually prove them. And you're going to prove them by what you do, not just what you think about doing. You got it? Jennifer, Tampa, Florida. Jennifer says, keeping in mind the 80-20 rule, where should small businesses focus 80% of their time in regards to marketing? Jennifer, I'm going to say what I just said to the other folks. Join the club. You're now in Michael E. Gerber's Action School. Remember that. Everything else is theoretical. 80-20 is theoretical, and everybody will tell you, no, it isn't, no, it isn't, no, it isn't, no, it isn't. And I'm simply saying it's not about focusing 80% of your time or 20% of your time or 90% of your time or 46% of your time. It's about doing the process. Doing the process. Step 1, your dream. Step 2, your vision. Step 3, your purpose. Step 4, your mission. Now, the minute you can bring your attention back to that and not have your attention wandering around in the theoretical universe of concepts that are not actionable, until you can do that, you're simply buying a whole sociology of confusion that, in fact, will not serve you one iota. We're here, Jennifer, Susie, Bobby Ray, and Frank, to begin the process of creating a great growing company. From a company of 1 to a company of 1,000. By following the universal principles and rules, not pathology, mind you, of all the bull that's being spread out in the universe, but the actual practical, pragmatic reality of step 1, step 2, step 3, and so forth and so forth. That's what I'm going to take you through. This is Action School, and you'll actually prove it every single step of the way. You'll prove it to yourself every single step of the way. Isn't that cool? So Jennifer, thank you from Tampa, Florida. By the way, my beautiful wife, Luz Delia, is going to be visiting Tampa, Florida in about a week to visit her gorgeous daughter and her gorgeous daughters there. Isn't that amazing? Guys, isn't it absolutely amazing how small the world really is? Jason of Texas asked a question last week, and I never got to it. Do you think that reading the E-Myth Revisited should be a prerequisite before anyone could get a sales tax ID or start a business? But of course I do, Jason. I've proven it. Most companies fail. Most small businesses fail. Most people fail at what they do. And most people fail at what they do because the thinking fails to deal with what must be done in a hierarchy of growth, in the evolution of an enterprise. So in fact, I'd ask or answer your question, Jason, in another way. I'd say absolutely critically, what must be done for anybody to get a sales tax or to start a small business or to go out on their own or to get a DBA or to do whatever the hell you do is the E-Myth Trilogy. It is the courseware for every single one of you. What I want you to do, I want you to say, Michael, I'm getting those 3 books and I'm reading those 3 books. Remember I said Action School? You can't go to school and not do the work. You got to do the work. Buy those books and read those books. That's the courseware for what we're talking about here. Now, I've just gotten some more questions. These are living questions. Shannon Green says, my 10-year-old son is captivated, Michael. Well, super. I've got a young guy, 17 years old, started in the program. I'll talk about the program momentarily. So Shannon, tell your 10-year-old son it's never too early to become an entrepreneur. It's never too early. Ken Goodrich, this most amazing entrepreneur, started out as a kid at 10 years old. His father was a air conditioning technician, but he was a lot more than that. But he had his son, Ken, when they were fixing air conditioners there in Las Vegas. out at night, hold the flashlight so his father could do the work. If you live in Las Vegas, if you live in Phoenix, if you live in Tucson, you could see Ken's trucks driving by, the kid with the flashlight. Do you understand? The kid with a flashlight. His father taught him how to make a living, how to make money. Taught him how to make money by becoming a truly inspired entrepreneur. Ken became a truly inspired entrepreneur. But he started out just like your 10-year-old son is captivated. I'm delighted you're captivated. Kayvon, my goodness. Hello, Michael. It's been so long. Thanks for what you do. Kayvon, you're so terrific. We haven't spoken for so long. And Kayvon's on his own journey. And of course, Kayvon can share his journey with all of you. I'm delighted to speak to you again, Kayvon. When are you going to do the serious work to create a great growing company? When are you going to join me to actually apply everything we've spoken about? Let's just do it, Kayvon, in Michael E. Gerber's Action School. And man, do I have a surprise for every single one of you. I'm going to hold it. Amin Hadid, I like your passion. You awakened the entrepreneur in me. Thank you. My pleasure, Amin. Now all we got to do is do it. So hear me, the trilogy. The E-Myth Revisited, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, Beyond the E-Myth, the trilogy. Amin, go buy them, go read them, and then email me, tell me that you've read them. And then I'll tell you the next thing to do. You can join me in the Dreaming Room online. Every single one of you can join me in the Dreaming Room live online. All you need to do is say, hey, Michael, when is it? 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 That's all you got to do. And I'll let you know. Joe Davidson, absolutely life-changing. Not yet, Joe. Not until you actually freaking do it. You understand? Everybody reads the E-Myth. Everybody says, Mike, you've changed my life. And I hear all that stuff, and I hear it by the millions. But not until you do it. You're obligated. You're obligated to this old guy. Going on 81, 22 inside. Determined to realize my dream, my vision, my purpose, and my mission. My dream is to transform the state of small business worldwide. My vision is to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. My purpose is that every single one of you can be as successful as a McDonald's franchisee, and my mission is to invent the business development system that will enable you to do that. It's all done. It's out at work in the world. But now we're going to put hyperdrive to it. Hear me, now we're going to put hyperdrive to it. We're going to have 1 million students online actually doing this work. Every single one of you online actually doing this work in a way you never believed was possible. We're going to make it available to everyone by the millions. To become the preeminent provider of economic development services worldwide. It's grassroots, folks. It's grassroots. It's time to become disciplined. It's time to actually follow a process and to become disciplined at that process. And that's why I say, if you got the will, I got the way. Jose Flores says, love your work. Thanks for your contribution. Jose, thank you. Let me tell you the way you can then reward me because you love me so. And that is, you can go to work on Nuco and invent a great growing company. And I'm going to go there side by side by side with you and hold your feet to the fire. And you're going to begin to see it. I like to say every job and enterprise, write that down, all of you, every job and enterprise. If I can make a taco and make a good living at it, I can teach you how to, too. If I can mow a lawn and make a great living at it, I can teach you how to, 2. If I could do anything under the sun, anything ordinary under the sun, and make a great living at it, I can then teach you how to, too, provided I build it to scale. And that's the key. That's the key. Provided I build it to scale. I call it radical self-employment. And Kayvon, I'm telling you, and Jose, I'm telling you, and Joe Davidson, I'm telling you, and I'm Mean, I'm telling you, and Shannon Green, I'm telling you, and Machiko, hello from Tokyo, Japan. Hello, Machiko. I love you so. Our partner in Japan, who's going to work on Japan, not just in Japan, to transform the world of small business in Japan. Absolutely stunning. So many millions of people around the world hoping to do this. Welcome to Michael E. Gerber's Action School, where we don't just talk about it, we do it, and we hold your feet to the freaking fire. Why? Because we love you. Hear me. When I would do what my saxophone teacher said, and I would practice and practice and practice and practice, Merle would say to me, Michael, you don't make music. Music finds you. Your job is to practice. And when I would do that, and one day show up at Merle's studio and take out my horn and play what he had me practice, Merle would reach down and pick up his tenor saxophone and play harmony to what I was playing because the music showed up. Guys, you have no idea what it's like when the music shows up. And you can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it because it's not an accident. It's a labor of love. I want to bring it to you. Oh, thank you. Jess Herman. Hi, Michael. When it comes to building a sales team from scratch, do you recommend starting with a sales manager and a top-down approach, or start with a sales rep and build it from there? You know the answer to that question, Jess. You start from the bottom and you move up. You do it. You go to work on the job while you're going to work in the job. You think about the job in 4 very discrete ways. You think of it visually, you think of it emotionally, you think of it functionally, and you think of it financially. Because the job, the sales job, is both visual, emotional, functional, and financial all at the same time. And ultimately, it's a system, which means that Jess can say, this is how I do it. This is how I do it. This is how it works. Now you work it. And then you work it. Jess, you're creating disciples in your sales force. You're creating disciples in your sales force, just as Jesus did. You're creating disciples in your sales force, but you understand it can't be a false discipleship. It's got to be genuine. It's got to be authentic. You've got to put the work in, Jess. You've got to put your heart into it. You've got to put your mind into it. You've got to put your body into it with a blank piece of paper and beginner's mind. We'll start at the beginning, but you're already too late. Because before you even create that sales team, you've got to create a dream, a vision, a purpose, and a mission. Remember I said it's a hierarchy of growth? It's a hierarchy of growth. Thanks, Jess. Great, serious question. Here's another question from Jean Bildstein. A lot of positive and inspiring energy. Thanks, Michael. Your books are very helpful. Well, let me say, Jean, that my books may be very helpful, but my books are, in fact, a prescription. They're not there to be, in quotes, helpful. They're to be taken literally. And it's not just the energy. Where does the energy come from? The energy comes from the experience of this happening worldwide in 145 countries, in 29 languages. It works. So I want you to start at the beginning, not somewhere in the middle where we happen to be right now. I want you to adopt this mindset I'm calling a two-co mindset. Old co, new co, you co, right there in the middle. Two-co, a two-co mindset, absolutely critical for where you are. And I want you to start it in exactly the way I'm prescribing it. Why? Because it works. Action. Let me see another question. Alvarado, I'm 20 years old. I want to join the Action School. Thank you for all your inspiration. Much love from El Paso, Texas. So Alvaro, I'm going to actually enable you to join my Action School and provide you with a way to do it. All you got to do is just hang tight, because I'm going to make the Dreaming Room live, online, available to you and to everyone. Everyone listening to me right now. I want to have at least 100 people in that live Dreaming Room. Here's the cost. It's $2,995. I'm going to be with you 7 times, 90 minutes each time, over 7 weeks. I want you to make that commitment. Only $2,995 to do what? To build the platform that's absolutely essential for a great growing company. And then I'm going to have just this stunning opportunity for you all once that's done, once you graduate from the Dreaming Room. So understand, we're going to do this together in Michael Gerber's Action School. It's called Turning Great Ideas into Absolutely Stunning Action. So you could prove it to yourself. And as you prove it to yourself, you'll become a member of our movement to transform the state of small business worldwide, one small business at a time, including and starting with yours. Deirdre Jones, hi Michael, love that discipleship. Well, I'm so thrilled that you're going to join me. Hear me, join me, do it. And as you do it, you'll know it because it's doing it for you. And you'll become that great, grand, new entrepreneur on your path to becoming an extreme entrepreneur by going to work on one co to create something beyond belief. Not a promise, not a hope, a commitment. If you got the will, I have verifiably proven the way. Jess Harmon, roger that. Much appreciated, Michael. Thanks. Guys, I got to go. So you know where I am. I'm going to be here live next week, next Thursday. Damned if I know what time. But you'll know because it'll be on Facebook. And that's how easy it is. And so I also want you to do this. I want to say, I want to come to the Dreaming Room, Michael. I want to come to the Dreaming Room, Michael. I want to come to the Dreaming Room, Michael. I want to come to the Dreaming Room, Michael. Just do that. Just do that. That's the way you show your true appreciation for what I'm sharing with you. Now, one last question. Dello Don Dada. What a great name, Dello. What you're giving is a cure to the average or even above average businessman. It's self-explanatory. Hear me, Dello. It may appear to be self-explanatory, but that's only mind work. Meaning it's very easy for every single one of you to become really enthused by this because of the energy of this and also because of the truth of this. But not until you do it. well, you absolutely understand it. You understand inspiration, education, application, implementation, and continuous improvement. The 5 essential functions of every great company: inspiration, education, application, implementation, continuous improvement. All that we're doing here is just that. I've loved being with you all. I love being able to share this wisdom with you. The wisdom of men like Ray Kroc. The wisdom of people who have applied what I'm talking about to the degree that is impossible to truly understand until you actually apply it yourself. The secret of all of this lies within you. If you've got the will, I got the way. 81 years proving it. With love, with commitment, with zealous energy. This is Michael E. Gerber speaking to you from Carlsbad, California, the land that God gave us, here for you. Bye-bye.